What's going on, everyone? Coach Damien here, The Shift Method. Hope everyone's having a great day. Got another YouTube video for all of you. A little bit different than our traditional exercise video. I'm gonna show y'all how to create and write your own warm-up. Today I'm gonna actually show a lower body warm-up as well as my philosophy into how I write one. But of course, you can take this same logic and apply it to anything that you're doing in the gym. So let's break it down. So it's always good to know what exactly is a warm-up, like what's the purpose of doing it. So to make it simple, a warm-up is a way to prep your body for the actual exercises and training session that you're gonna do for that day. So as a simple rule, warm-ups should be very specific, meaning if I'm training lower body, I wanna make sure that I'm warming up my lower body, right? It sounds pretty simple. So if I got something like squats, lunges, deadlifts, I don't really wanna be doing too much for the upper body because that's not really the main focus of the day. So specificity is definitely important. Number two, I'm trying to get my body prepared for the actual task. So I wanna make sure that movements that I do in the warm-up mimic what I'm going to do in the workout. So like I mentioned with the lower body example, if I'm doing lunges, squats, and deadlifts, I wanna make sure that I'm doing some variation of those, or at least targeting those muscle groups and movement patterns to get myself ready to do it. Additionally, warm-ups are meant to actually prep your body physiologically. So what's that gonna do? It's gonna raise your heart rate, it's going to increase certain metabolic pathways, your breathing is gonna go up, basically just preparing your body to actually get ready for the work that you're going to do for the actual workout. So a good acronym that I like to use for structuring my warm-ups, and really doesn't matter if you're an athlete, general population, whatever you're training for, this is a good acronym to remember to make your warm-ups easy and systematic. It's the RAMP protocol. So let's break down each of those parts. First is R, raise your heart rate and your physiology. So this is gonna be doing things like any kind of cardio move, using a treadmill, an assault bike, a rower, whatever, or some traditional things like jumping jacks, jump rope, whatever you can to get your heart rate and your breathing up, you're going to raise your body to get ready for the workout. Number two is activate. So like I mentioned in the beginning, if you're doing a lower body day, you wanna activate the muscles that you're going to use for that workout. So if I'm training legs, I wanna get the quads, glutes, hamstrings involved. If I'm training upper body, I wanna do the chest, back, and arms. You have to do exercises that activate the body to get it prepared for the task at hand. Number three is gonna be mobilize. Mobilize means take your joints through a full range of motion. Now that you've warmed them up by getting your heart rate up and actually activated them, I want to then take those joints through various ranges of motion. This is what you can think of as your traditional dynamic exercises, thinking about things like arm slaps for the upper body, rotations for the torso, anything that actually takes your body through ranges of motion, again, that are similar to the workout. And last but not least, and this one has a little caveat where you don't always have to use it, but essentially it means potentiate. Potentiate means to basically do warm-up sets or prep work for what you're actually gonna do. So in a general sense, potentiate can be warm-up sets for your particular exercise. So let's say you're doing that upper body day, right? You raise your heart rate on the rower, you activate your chest and back with some push-ups and pull-ups, you mobilize with some various dynamic movements, and then let's say your first exercise is bench press. You're not just gonna jump into your sets of 10, you're gonna do some warm-up sets for your bench press. So potentiate would be the warm-up sets itself. In an athletic context, potentiate could mean maybe specific drills that you do. Say you're doing a speed day, right? You're trying to work on linear speed. You might do some drills to actually enhance or prepare yourself for your actual speed work. So potentiate's kind of that warm-up or prep work that kind of finalizes your warm-up. Some last key notes to know, and this works, of course, for yourself, but also especially for a client. Number one, make sure that a warm-up flows very well. One common mistake that I see with coaches is that while they're writing their warm-up, they have all these cool things listed out, but then when you practically try to apply it, it's very, scattered about. You're kind of going all over the gym, right? You're doing a treadmill and then you're running over across the gym and doing squats. Try and make it flow, right? So you're relatively standing most of the time, or if you are going up and down, it flows in a way where you're not going constantly to standing and seated or on the floor. Make sure your equipment is nearby so you're not running across the gym. Just overall try and make it flow just like you would with the session. Number two, make sure that it's progressive, meaning that it gradually increases in intensity over time, right? You're not gonna start with doing assault bike at RPE 10 the second you start your warm-up. So you wanna make sure that you gradually increase the intensity over time as you go through the warm-up. And lastly, like I kind of mentioned in the beginning, is that specificity component, where whatever you're doing, whether it's you're doing an upper body day, a lower body, full body athletic training, doesn't matter what it is, make sure that your warm-up is tailored to what you're actually doing. A good piece of advice for that, I always tell people, write your workout first and then base your warm-up off of your workout. That's always a good way to go about knowing what to do. For this warm-up, I'm doing a lower body athletic based warm-up. So assuming that I'm doing some big compound lifts like the squat and lunge, along with also having some explosive work like some box jumps or some plyometric jumps. So you'll see how that kind of makes sense as we go through. First part is raise. I'm starting with just getting my heart rate up. The assault bike is a great way to do that. Targets the quads and the hips. So I'm gonna go for 1 to 3 minutes, RPE 4 to 6, just kind of a moderate intensity to get my heart rate up. Next is activate. So I'm gonna do a series of body weight compound movements to get my muscles activated, do some movement patterns I might do in the workout. So you see here, I got some jump squats, I got some RDLs with a calf raise, I got some lunge twists, and I got some crab walks, hitting all 3 planes of motion. Each one I'll do 1 to 2 sets, roughly about 10 reps per exercise. Next is mobilize, just some general mobility movements for the lower body. Again, trying to get all major muscle groups and planes of motion. So I'm gonna do some knee hugs for the hip flexors. I'm gonna do some figure fours, get the glutes activated. I'm gonna do some quad pull with the reach, a little bit of upper body as well, just because, you know, for squats and various movements, holding a barbell or holding dumbbells, let the upper body get a little bit of mobility there. And then I'm gonna do some scoops for the hamstrings. Make sure the hamstrings are nice and loose, get them all set for the workout. Last but not least, I'm gonna do potentiate. Again, since I mentioned this is a lower body athletic based workout and I might have some plyos involved, I'm just gonna do 1 to 2 sets of box jumps, get about 5 to 8 reps here. Again, just trying to get my, body ready for some explosive movement, get those fibers ready, get the muscle groups prepped for the movements ahead. And that's all I got for today. I wanna say thank y'all so much for tuning in again. Really appreciate it. As always, be sure to follow me on Instagram and TikTok at @the_shift_method. Again, y'all can train with me at Johnny O's Gymnasium here in beautiful Boca Raton, Florida. And I'll see y'all in the next one.